Hey friends, it's Caleigh Bird. Welcome back to my channel. You know I'm always thrilled to have you. So today I've got something very exciting for you, as it is the end of 2019 and about to be 2020. But honestly, this will work for any year. So if you're not watching it this year, you're all good. And I am going to show you how to set yourself up as an artist with an art business for success this coming year. Now this is a little questionnaire sort of thing. I'm not really one for resolutions per se, because I feel like resolutions are kind of meant to be broken, but I do think that it's a good time to sort of reflect, look back, see what worked, see what didn't, yada yada, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Like I said, this was a little list I made, gosh, about 4 years ago now, and I made it for my blog to help you guys out, but I honestly pull it out and wind up using it every year. So I'm gonna go through my little checklist with you. Or not really checklist, but questionnaire more like. I'm gonna go through it, I'm gonna tell you my answers, and if you jump down to my blog post, which is linked down below, you can print one out for yourself, and it will help you sort of get your goals in focus and get ready for the coming year to come. I am actually in Charleston, South Carolina right now at this awesome park. It used to be a museum, I think the first museum in the country, and it burned down, but it left these amazing pillars. So yes, it is cold here. Brr, I am not used to winter yet at all, but I'm gonna have a really good time filming for you guys today. Thank you, thanks for being here, and make sure you pop that subscribe button so you come back over and over and over again. Hey guys, so I'm going to interrupt my own video here because I almost forgot to add this information, since it's not on the questionnaire, but it is part of the nitty-gritty part of running your business. And since it's not fun, I'm going to get it out of the way. And that is, you need to look at your financials, and not just like, I made this much money this year. Like, you need to look at what kind of money you made in each avenue of your business. Like, what did you make from prints? What did you make from originals? You know, what did you make from teaching? What did you make from guest speaking? What did you make from doing murals? Like, each of those aspects are a different like part of your business, and you need to know what you made from each of those. And of course that is like minus your supplies and stuff like that. So find out, you know, what you made, and then you're going to take each one of those like categories and figure out about how much time you spent. You don't need to go like down to the hour, but kind of like on a general speaking, what percentage, how much time did you spend on focusing on each avenue of your business. And if you find, like, you need to make sure those ratios are good. If you're spending a lot of time on that thing, you need to be making a lot of money on that thing. I mean, if you're spending a little amount of time and you're making a lot of money, woohoo, goals, keep that one. But if you're spending a lot of time on something and just making a little bit of money, you might need to phase that out, figure out how to be more efficient with it, you know, decide if that is something that you want to kind of call free time. I don't know. If the point of your business is to become a full sustaining career, then you kind of have to be a little bit brutal with yourself. And if you see something is not financially serving you, you might need to get rid of it. And I know that's really tough and difficult to say, because there are definitely, I have been doing creative things my whole life, and there are so many things that I have done in the past that I love to do and was really fun, but I realized it was not financially serving me. I wasn't making my time like worth the money, you know? And like, for example, last year, this is one of the toughest decisions I ever had to make. I closed a big aspect of my business, which was the custom portrait drawings. If you guys look at some of my old YouTubes, you'll see the graphite with the white Conte, the custom portrait drawings. And I love doing those, you guys. And I was like really proud of those. And the people that I did them for like really loved them. But I took a whole hard look, and I realized that I was spending a huge amount of my time not only like updating and doing my website and doing the social medias. I was spending a lot of time and money like learning how to market that and Facebook ads, and like, you know, putting myself in all these like with bloggers and stuff, people that I wasn't really connecting with, but I was just trying to like advertise to. And so it didn't feel natural. So I literally, like, when I looked at how much money I was making from custom portrait drawings versus how much time I was spending like advertising and figuring things out and reworking and photographing, like it was just unbelievable. Like my ratios were all wrong. And so even though I put thousands of hours and probably close to that much money into developing this aspect of my business, I realized that I had to cut my losses. I had to just stop. So at the beginning of this year, I stopped doing all of my custom portrait things. I stopped, like, if somebody still wants one, I'll still do it, but I've stopped doing any kind of advertising for it. I don't do them like in my free time, like as examples. I've shut down the website. I'm not paying for that anymore. I've shut down all the social medias. Like, that is done. That is a closed aspect of my business. And that was painful, but I've got to tell you, I'm not even lying. Every other avenue of my business has gotten so much better. Like my YouTube has really stepped up. My Instagram looks better. My blog posts are like, I feel like they're written better. I mean, everything now that I do, I'm able to spend a lot more time with doing, and every aspect of my business is better since getting rid of this big time waster. So I don't want to go on and on right now, but that is like the nitty gritty. That is some of the not so fun stuff that you really need to do. And you don't need to like by January 1st decide what you're cutting. But you know, when you're doing your taxes, when you're looking at your money, sometime in January-ish, you need to start making some tough decisions, or rejoicing because maybe you're doing it right and you don't need to listen to me. Yay. Anyways, okay. Enjoy the checklist, you guys. Mwah. So starting with number one, I'm gonna get real with you guys. Number one is get better and more prompt about doing my least favorite task. Now, my least favorite task, honestly, is sharing my YouTube videos. I know that sounds insane. I love making them and I love sharing them on YouTube, but I really hate the process of having to like share them on all over my social media and try to find groups to share them in. And I've just recently learned about trying to share it on Pinterest and like finding out people to feature my videos. Like, I hate doing the like actual marketing legwork of trying to share my videos throughout. So that is one of the things I've actually created a little checklist for myself, which maybe I'll share that with you guys too, so you can see I just created this checklist for myself specific to what my needs are to help me through the next year. So you know what, I'll share that down below too, so that maybe it'll inspire you to make your own kind of thing. But you know, there are certain places where are beneficial for me to share my videos, and I know that I need to do it every time, and sometimes I just don't, or I'm like a week late, or I'm sharing something from like whatever last month. Like, oh my gosh, it's so bad, you guys. So that one is mine. You guys think about it. You know, there's that one task, maybe two, that you are just, you are too slack at. You need to get a little bit better, just a little bit better. Sometimes what I've heard is if you associate something that you don't like doing with a reward, then it makes it much easier. Like, for example, if you finish just one certain task, then you get to go grab some ice cream at your favorite ice cream parlor or something like that. I mean, I know that sounds a little juvenile, but like maybe like, oh, when you finish this task, you put $20 into the next pair of like whatever fancy paintbrushes that you want, pair of paintbrushes, whatever that means. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it can be really good if you associate a reward with something that you don't like so much, because then you're more likely to be excited about doing it, or at least having been finished. Is visit one new to me art collection, and this is really important, you guys, because I know a lot of us, we do our scrolling and we do our clicking, and we definitely, you know, we enjoy going out and maybe seeing pretty things in our city or whatever, but you guys, we need to make it a point to see real art that people really took their time on in person, because it's totally different. Looking at brush strokes or technique or woven things, like, it's totally different. So this is really important. Now, I don't have something in particular lined up because I visit art collections like whenever I can. This one is kind of more for other folks' encouragement really than mine, because I flipping love going to see art collections. Ever since I was little, I was like probably the only 8-year-old in the museum that was like reading every description, like loving everything, the quietest one, looking at all the displays. So yeah, you guys make sure you are visiting, you know, traveling artists coming in, go to your community art walk, take a trip somewhere, because, you know, we can do a lot of fun things. We can go on a trip, we can go, you know, to the beach or someplace tropical, or we can go to the mountains and go skiing. But any place you go, there's going to be some sort of like local, maybe indigenous art to see, or, you know, an art collection maybe on the way. Maybe if you're driving, you can have a little stop off somewhere and go to a museum for an hour. I'm telling you guys, like, it is so important. So go see some art. Yes. Find one way to give back to my community or to a meaningful charity. Now, this is important because you can start to kind of get lost in your own head and get lost in like your own struggles and issues, and we all have them. Trust me, we've all got issues and problems with our home life, with our financial life, with our business life, whatever. But it really, really helps for you to step outside of yourself and focus on helping others sometimes, because if nothing else, it'll make you feel better. I mean, of course it will make them feel better too, but it'll make you feel better just knowing that you've helped someone else. So For this year, I'm actually have been accepted to a few artist residency programs, and one in particular, I know I'm going to be doing some outreach programs with some of the like kids in the community. I'm also going to be like volunteering with their little museum and stuff like that, but I know one of the things is going to be like either teaching at our workshop or going into their schools, or maybe teaching with like helping out with some after school programs. I'm not sure, but we're gonna do something, and that's gonna be a way I'll give back. I also give a little bit to like my favorite charities. Like I donate to Wikipedia every year. There's an independent news organization that doesn't take corporate money that I believe in that I donate to. And then also, if you're like me, we don't have a ton of money, but the little bit that we can do with our time, with the little dollars that we do have, you know, it makes a big difference, and it makes you feel better at the end of the day. And it also sometimes can make you feel a little less hopeless if you're like, okay, you know, small change can make a big difference, you know? Stop doing this time waster or harmful habit. We all have them, you guys, and I feel like most of them is probably going like this a little too long, you know what I mean? So of course, you know, not scrolling too much is a good one. I've actually kind of been able to curb that just by giving myself things to do when I get on Instagram. Like I need to do a post, I need to do a story, I need to interact with certain people, So I have stopped, not always, but like wasting a ton of time on Instagram personally. But one of the things that I tend to do is anytime I'm about to like make a purchase or kind of like make a decision, or especially if I'm gonna like buy an airline flight or something like that, I tend to kind of over sort of research. Like it's always good to like look around and get the best quality or best price or whatever it is you're looking for, get what you need, that kind of thing, do some research. But I will kind of take it to like the nth degree, and I'll wind up wasting time on something like kind of by researching like over and over again, and am I sure I really got it, and going down these rabbit holes and then looking at something similar and then sitting down or sitting it to the side and not thinking about it for a week and then coming back to it and doing it again. And so like sometimes I'll make a purchase of an item that's maybe like, you know, like a $60 item, like nothing, but nothing crazy and like, you know, expensive, and I'll have spent like 2 hours or something deciding if I needed this. And it's like, how much money could you have made in that 2 hours if you were doing something productive with that time, you know? Like, so that is one of the time wasters I'm trying to get better at, especially since I am going to have some expenses as far as like outfitting my van coming up and stuff like that. So I'm trying to really minimalize that. When I find a good thing and find a good deal, I'm just going for it. So find something that you waste too much time on, jot it on down, and figure out how you can curb it. You don't necessarily have to stop doing that thing, but figure out how you can minimalize it, how you can curb it, how you can distract yourself from distracting yourself, you know? Find one aspect of my studio or clerical method to organize more efficiently. We can all use more efficiency in our lives. I get a lot of comments and compliments on my studio tours about like, oh, you're so organized, you're so organized. Like, honestly, I don't know any other way to be. I would be just crazy if I lived in chaos. So this can be very, very good, not only just because it looks nice and it feels nice, but it can actually help you get more work done. Now, right now, I don't really have a studio of my own. You know, Vaughn, my adventure van, is kind of my home these days. I kind of consider Vaughn as being my like studio away from home right now. And because I've just got him, I am not quite outfitted the way I want to be, but that is where my organizational clerical aspect is going to come. Like I said before, I got my little worksheet, so I've got that handled. And then for Vaughn, yeah, it's going to be about building the bed, getting the most amount of storage room and efficiency, and being able to pop things out and pop up my tent and do all the things that I need to do by myself with just these 2 guns, baby. So yeah, that's where I'm going to be focusing my organization. But what I recommend for you, especially if your place is really untidy and it can be a little overwhelming, pick one corner, one aspect. Maybe what you want to do is clear one corner and put a new little like shelf unit in there, and just start off very slowly, one shelf at a time. I know it can sound like, oh yeah, that's all you do, just one thing at a time, but literally it is. Like for me, when I'm moving in or something, when I'm moving into a new place, it can take me 2 or 3 weeks to get my studio set up. And that's by design, because I want to have everything have intention. I want to know where it is. I want it to be in the place that I need it to be when I want to grab it. And sometimes you don't know where those places are going to be until you've like worked in a space a little bit. So I recommend start in one little corner, start with just one shelf area and tidy that one area. And then just move on to one more. And even if you only have a little bit of time, let's say you have 1 hour in the evenings, and that 1 hour can get you one shelf or half a shelf, do it. Do it. Even if it takes you a month, do it. You are going to thank yourself. Hopefully you'll thank me too. This is number 6, the final one. Last but not least, do one thing I've been really wanting to do, but that keeps getting put off. Treat yourself. Yes, if my fingers weren't so cold, I would have been able to snap. But yes, treat yourself, you guys, because this is important. Like, you want to be able to have a little self-love, a little self-care. I know I always do better in the studio when I have something to look forward to, because I'm like, I better get all this work done by this date because I have to go do this exciting adventure or whatever. So find something you want to do and figure out a way, plan, save, take off from your other job, do whatever it is you need to do it. My one thing is like a ton of things. It's getting a van and traveling. So I've started the first part. Actually, I've already done the second part, because in just the last couple of weeks, I've already camped out like 4 nights. I've been to like 3 different towns. I've visited a bunch of friends, and yeah, that's just, I'm still in 2019. So 2020 is going to be an exciting year. So whether it's like going to a really amazing museum or someplace to go vacation or something, plan it, make it happen, and figure out how you can be creative with it. Maybe you bring your sketchbook along, or maybe you visit some collections while you're doing something else, whatever it is. Maybe you snap a few photos, and then when you get home, you'll do a painting from one of those. But do something to treat yourself, guys. Thanks for being here today, guys. It sure was fun filming this in my hometown for you. I hope you got a lot out of it. And just to add, you never know when you're going to be able to make your questionnaire dreams come true, because while I was at the library editing, I realized that they were having a little art exhibit just downstairs. It's so fantastic how art can just pop into your life in the most wonderful ways when you're least expecting it. See you later. Pop that subscribe button, and I will see you soon.